Hey crafters, getting a new Cricut can be a steep learning curve. So I've put together just some quick beginner tips so you can get the most out of this great crafting tool. Today we're going to be looking at changing the blade. When you first get a new Cricut, it comes with a new blade that will cut all your crafting needs for a long time. But after a lot of crafting, your blade can get dull. You can tell when it gets a bit dull because it doesn't cut the same as it used to, like this. Sometimes you can get a bit more time out of your blade by just adding a little bit more pressure on the cut. So when it's time to change the blade, grab yourself a new blade from your local craft store. Now I don't always use Cricut brand things, but when it comes to the blade, definitely go with the Cricut brand. There's lots of cheap ones out there on the market, but you never know what you're going to get or how it's going to affect your machine when you use the cheap ones. I have the Explorer Air 2 and a Maker. They both have slightly different blade holders, so let's have a look at replacing the blades in each one of these. Let's start with the Explorer. You open up the clip and pull out the housing. Now the blade is inside there, and you just push that little bit up, pull it out, and there's your blade. Be very careful because that is seriously sharp on the end. Then you just grab your new blade, pull off the covering, and carefully pop that in the housing. And there you go, new blade is installed. Now you pop it back in, clip it shut, and it's good to go. Now with the Maker, it's very similar. It just has an extra clip to open, but you pull out the housing, push in the button at the end, and out pops the blade. You pull that gently out, carefully. Remember, it's very sharp. You can then grab your new blade, pull off the covering, and pop that back in. And you're good to go. Pop that back in, close up the housing, and there you go. New blade's installed. It has been said that pushing your blade into a ball of aluminium foil, or as the Americans would say, aluminum foil, will sharpen your blade. This is actually not true. These blades are made from carbide steel, which can't be sharpened by just pushing them into some foil. But in saying that, there's still a use for this because sometimes little pieces of vinyl or cardstock get stuck on the end of your blade, making your cuts ineffective. So I find every now and then I just clean my blade with the foil, and that way it keeps it fresh. Now that my machines have nice new blades, I like to just keep a note of when I replace the blade, just for my record. If my Cricut is all of a sudden not cutting properly, and I can look at my note and see that I just replaced the blade, then I can know that it's not the blade, but it was something else, and I can have a closer look. I just add this post-it note on the inside of my machine with the date. It's also interesting to see how long they last. I do find that if I'm cutting a lot of cardstock, they do dull quicker than if I'm just cutting vinyl. That's just a little observation I found. I hope you got something useful from this quick video. I'll be putting together some more tips for Cricut users in the next few weeks. If you have something that you would like me to look at, why not just leave a comment below? I'd love that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back with more beginner tips and some crafty adventures soon. So until then, have a great week and I'll see you then. Bye.